curveball. Unsuccessful, I think.
It might have tripped corner. Or maybe, I don't know. It went there. I just marked it with my foot. The ball. Ball one.
Where did I put the mouse? Randy. Oh shit. Oh my.
That's easily a ball. Fun fact. I actually umpired on this field once. Yeah, once. Just where someone said my name. I would think before then.
Damn it. 14 fastball. Ball.
Oh, that one. There. Plate is fit. Another fun fact, I actually play baseball.
I really need a mark. I think this is a slider. Oh yeah. I think that's a strike.
3 ball, 1 strike. Right now, I would say.
Flipper. I think that's a strike.
I'm calling out a strike. Counts full.
the slider again. I'm probably gonna go home soon. Slider. Ball. 1-1. This is what I call a hander. Strike. He's out. Alright. 1 out. Fill up another slider. Actually, no, another hander. I don't know. I'd say that might have chipped the corner. I'm gonna say that was here. I'm gonna say that's ball. So, 1 ball. Oh yeah, that's right. Alright, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two ball, 1 strike. I go with my famous arm breaker. Three ball, 1 strike. 3 ball, 1 strike. What do you know? I got the exact count from the softball game going. Foul. Alright. Down is full again. Let's try a knuckle. I say that shit the corner. Strike 3, batters out. Now, I'm gonna show you guys my hitting.
for this, since I don't have anyone to help me out, I'm using a tee. I don't know exactly how far I hit, but I'm currently in Bantam Midget League. I did not make up the name. It's actually a real league. Let's do this. Oh. Currently, the best that I have in my bag is a DeMarini Voodoo Overlord. It's a drop free from 2014. Now I'm going to show you guys how I've improved. This was me 3 years ago when I first joined baseball. I never had this bat, but I mean until now, got it just last year. Anywho, this is how I used to hit 3 years ago. Barely even makes it to the outfield, and I would have been out at first base by now. This is how I hit now. 2026 baseball season. Officially 3 years after I started playing baseball. This is me now. baseball is not like playing like tennis. Baseball is actually pretty hard. Now, I'll show you guys some of my umpire calls that I sometimes have to make while on the field. This includes safe, out, warnings, and more. Now, buy this mask off Amazon for around, I'd say like around 56 bucks. It's a pretty durable mask and has a head strap. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you my calls that I make. Starting off with base umpire. Now, I'm going to show you guys where you have to stand when you're a base umpire. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. But yeah, so the base umpire has a ton of spots you can go to. Actually, hold on, I will attach you to my tee so you can see me better. Now, the base umpire has multiple positions they can go to. Let me show you one of them. So for me, I like to stand right here when no one is on base, because then you get a good sight at both the batter and the foul line, as well as the great view at both the dugouts, all three bases, and yeah, when someone's on first base, you're gonna want to go here. Hold on. You're gonna want to go here. Make sure you aren't blocking the base path. And I have to reposition the camera, because I don't think you guys can see me at all. Oh yeah, you guys can't. Alright, there. So, when someone is on first base, I like to stand here. You get good view of pitcher, second base, first base, third base, and both dugouts. As well as the pitcher, obviously. Now, what if someone is on, for example, first and second, or just second base? That's actually a very easy one. Let me move you again. Now, if someone is on second base, you're gonna want to go about here. Nope, about here. If someone's on third base, you're gonna want to go here. If bases are loaded, hold on, I'm gonna reposition the camera again so that you can see me better. Because if this is your first time umpiring base, you're gonna want to know where to stand in case your league hasn't told you where to stand. Now, if bases are loaded, or there's someone on first and third, you're gonna want to go like about here, in between first and second. It'll also be somewhat close to the pitcher. So then, if there's pickoff play at first or second, all you have to do is just turn your body. If there's a pickoff at third, quickly run over. Now, enough of positioning for the base umpire. Let me show you some of the signs that I make during games. All these I will be doing at, well, first base. So, starting off with the very common foul ball. So, for foul balls, when it's called, you're going to want to put both hands up like this, and then yell foul. So it'll look something like this. Foul! Now, what about fair ball? Fair ball. Well, making the fair ball call is actually pretty rare. It's probably one of the most rarest calls you will ever make. But usually how it works is if the ball gets hit, goes around the base, whether that be first or third, and then head into foul territory. As long as it passes the base, it's fair unless it is very obviously foul, but it's still in the air, and then it drops down in the outfield. Then in that case, you would call foul. Again, putting your hands up, both of them, like this, and yelling foul, like this. Foul! Now, obviously, you can't be looking at home plate when you make that call, when it's a foul ball in the outfield. When it's a foul ball in the outfield, you're gonna want to look at the ball. So, it'll look something like this. Foul! Now, sometimes the plate umpire might make that call. But the way I do it, base umpires make the call. Now, what about balk? Well, for balk, well, actually, no, I will save the special ones for last. So, like, balks, infield flies, all that. So, now time for safe. For safe, obviously, you're gonna want to move. Hold on. I'm gonna reposition the camera so that you can see better. So, obviously, you're gonna want to move from where you are at first base and move over to here. So then if they run around it first, you can quickly get over to second, or even third if they somehow get a triple. Now, for my safe, I like to go with the very normal, well, just arm out, like this. So this is how I like to do it. Here, I will actually show you, but first, I'm going to reposition it yet again, because you can barely see me. Right about there. Alright, let's go. Safe! Now, what about out? It's easy. Now, every umpire has their own out. For me, I like to go like this. Oh! Or even like this. He's out! No, not he's out. You don't say he, she, they, or them. You just say, oh! Now, I'm going to show you how other umpires yell out. Now, I don't know these umpires' names, but some like to go like this Oh! Others like to go like this. Oh! But let me show you how I do my out. So again, you're going to stand at your first base position. You're going to want to shift over to here. Now, if it's at first base is always a forced play, whether the base is empty or occupied. So if the ball is hit, let's say third base throws it, and you're right here, well, obviously, when the ball is hit, you're going to first look at the ball, move. Now, if the ball went over to third base, best bet, I would recommend maybe going here. Because, well, then you don't get drilled in the head. Trust me, this could happen. That's happened multiple times in the MLB. Anywho, so, watch this. So, let's just act like the ball went to second base. This is how I do it. So, for when the batter is pretty far away from the base, I just like to go up the more calm out, which is like this. Oh! Well, as for if it's very close, like they are right here, then that's when I go with my quicker one, like where you go like this. Hold on. Oh! Now, I'm going to show you some specific ones. Let me move you over to here. Believe it or not, there's actually multiple different ways of doing stuff. Now, let me show you Bach. So, for Bach, you're going to want to do this. First, you're going to want to call time, which, depending on the league you umpire, it's either one hand or two. In my league, we do one-handed, so I will show you it in my league. Time! That's a Bach. Now, obviously it depends on when in the year it happened. If it happened in preseason, it's just a warning that cannot result in ejection. During the season and playoffs, it results in the runners to advance one base. But if the runners are already past halfway to a base, they get to go to the other base. So let's say there was a runner on first base running to second base, got to here, and then a balk was called. Then the runner, instead of going to second base, they actually go to third. Which, believe me, it's actually kind of weird, but I've also been playing baseball for 3 years now, and it's very confusing. Now, infield and fly. This is, if not the most rare, most confusing call you could ever make. So, for infield fly, basically, from what I've heard, ball has to pop up. It has to pop up in the air pretty high and remain in the infield with less than 2 outs, whether that be 1 out or no out. And also, there needs to be someone on, I've heard, think first and second, or bases loaded. Now, how do you call infield fly? First, obviously, you look up. See the ball? If it's in the infield, and you know it's staying in the infield, then that's when you can call infield fly, which goes like this. Infield fly! Now, you have to point up in the air with 2 fingers, like this. Here. Like that. Now, what about the plate umpire? Well, let me show you that. So, luckily for plate, I don't need to move you that far. I just have to move you there. So, for plate, obviously you're going to be going right about here. And you're obviously going to need a mask or a catcher's helmet, something like this will work. Now, how do you resume play? Easy. First, you go like this with whichever hand you want. You can do it with your left or even your right hand. It doesn't matter. You can go flat hand or fist. I prefer fist because, well, I mean, kind of obvious. Then, when you are ready, then when the catcher and batter is both ready, then that is when you would do that, twist your wrist to make it look like you're about to make a fist bump. Then you can point with 2 fingers and say play. It'll look something like this. Play! Now, when the pitcher is in their windup, which means they're gonna be like this, and that is when you go into your stance. Whether that be this, or God forbid, even this. Me, since I am a first-year umpire, I've been taught hands behind your back, and then crouch. So then, it makes it easier. Now, obviously, you can move to whichever side you want, but a lot of umpires make the mistake of going dead in the middle. That's bad, because when you crouch, catcher is going to block you. You can't really see the ball then, if it's a strike. So then, if it's right down the middle, and you can't see it, you might call ball. Well, then you get chased off the field by the spectators. So, that's why you have to stand to the side. How do you make your strike call? Well, every umpire has their own way. Some like to go like this. Strike 1. Others like to go like this. Strike 1. Me, I like to point and say strike 1. This is how I make my calls at home plate. Strike 1. 2. 2 strikes. Ball, low. Ball, outside. 2. Ball, high. Ball. Now, time for the strike 3. Now, I don't know if you can see me or not. Okay. So, this is how you make your strike 3. Now, you can combine your strike 1 and 2 with an out. So, if your strike 1 and 2 looks like this, strike 1, then you can make your strike 3 look like this. Strike 3. Now since I made my strike 1 and 2 look like this, strike 1, where I point with the amount of fingers that there are strikes. Since I do that, then I can do this. Strike 3, batter's out. And yeah. Now, making the safe and out calls at home plate is almost the exact same as making safe and out calls at first base. Just, you don't have to move. I mean, you kind of do. It depends. If it's a strikeout, no, you don't need to move. You can, God, if you really want to, you can go like, strike 3, batter's out. If you really want to for some reason. Yeah. Anyhow, I gotta wrap up because it's almost time for me to leave. Hold on. Yep, I gotta go. So, remember, guys. Oh, yeah. Remember, baseball is not an easy sport. And also, it's an American sport, so obviously it's not gonna be easy. But also, curling and ice hockey are Canadian sports, and they aren't easy at all, so yeah, never mind on that. But remember, if you feel like you are letting your team down, don't think that. That's just gonna bring yourself down more, and then that's really gonna cost your team. So remember this, umpires of the future. Don't be like Angel Hernandez. You can believe in them, just don't act like them. Because I will, well, surprisingly, MLB didn't fire him, he just quit, so that's actually, so they won't fire you, probably, maybe, I don't know, I haven't done that yet. And I'm probably never gonna do that because I don't want to lose this job. But yeah. See you guys in the next video whenever I make another one. Bye.